LFG, let's go. All right. We're still waiting. We're still waiting on Lance. I got my keep Florida free hat on. We got election day, midterms tomorrow. So thought I'd be in the moment. But crazy days, huh? Markets giving us all kinds of different mixed indicators. We have oil breaking out. I've been smashing oil. I'm going to talk a little macro before my boy gets here, and then we can recap some of the other stuff. But markets all over the place. Tech's not good. Oil's good. Defensive stuff's good. But yeah, listen, the Fed wants its price. They want to extract their pound of flesh. Oh, you love this hat. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one for sure. I'm trying to get things going. My computer's acting up. And it pisses me off when it does that. But I can still share my screen and go through some stuff before Lance gets here. Let's do that. Hold on a sec. All right. So I was looking at Apple. This is one thing. I look at a lot of stuff, but I was looking at Apple this morning because they came out this weekend and they were like, we're going to be delivering less iPhones because they're still shutting factories down and shit in China. So, but Apple stock's not doing much on the downside. So I'm like, well, Apple's been kind of a stubborn stock compared to the FANG, for instance, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google. So I did a comparative chart here looking at Apple versus the FANG going back to last year. So this blue chart here is the FANG index, which has gone from a little bit south of 8,000 to about 4,200. So 50% in a year, down. Those stocks combined. While Apple last year around the same time was $150 in share, and this morning is trading about $136 a share. 10% lower a year ago, not year to date, 1 year ago. It's important to make that distinction. So for me, it's like, what's with this outperformance? But so then I started looking at other outperformance. Look at this. This is the S&P growth versus the S&P value index. I mean, this show, it's Monday morning. I like to work my way into this stuff, talk to Lance a little bit about the good. Oh, there's my guy. Let's talk to Lance a little bit before we get into the heavy dutiness of this thing. Let's see. Where's he at? Lance, we can't see you. We can't hear you yet. But yeah, so over 5 years, it's been growth over value. So you can see COVID happens in 2020.
Here we go.
And bang, we started printing all this free money. Everybody started buying crazy stocks. They started buying all the there he is. There's my guy. He's in a car. Lance is in a car.
I wanted to hop on to see what the convo was going before I get into the home office, we'll call it. So I'm about to turn down my drop over here in a minute. But are you talking about? I heard growth stocks. Are you talking about your girl Kathy Woods and all her?
I'm not there yet. We'll get
stocks?
there. We'll get there. I wanted to talk about my football bets, which I crushed. I crushed the weekend. But I want to talk about. I want to talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady saved my ass yesterday. But
dude, you see what happens when you get divorced?
I'm not going to let my wife watch the replay of that one. But listen up.
Yeah.
So
right.
look at this thing. So value last week, value was amazing, while growth still continues to get killed. So that was just a little bit of what I was talking about with all these folks. So
did you talk about our favorite DraftKings?
Oh, I didn't want to mention the war. We can get to that when you get here.
Hold on.
Your home office.
So we had everyone messaging us. So after we came out with DraftKings, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the stock had a crazy rally, and those out money calls were up, like 70% or so. So, obviously a good trade leading up to earnings. And then post earnings, oh my God, there was no bid.
But that's the thing, right? That's the thing. If you miss, that they didn't even miss. They beat.
I know. They were up initially after the numbers.
They beat the top line. The problem is they pushed out their path to profitability. But if you're in a growth stock environment, nobody gives a shit. But now everybody wants profits. They don't want promises of profits. They want profits. So stock got destroyed mercilessly. Let's look at it.
That Twilio, Net, Cloudflare, all those Kathy Wood names out there. Oh my goodness. Friday it was like the bloodbath. Like they were down 20-30%, these names. Like it was insane.
I know, but it's like two markets are happening, right? Like the
Right.
rest of the market's like, well, whatever. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to tell you? It sucks to be you. Look at this volume. This thing traded almost 80 million shares on Friday. That's
You know
wild.
how bad I wanted to buy calls in it? I kept wanting to buy it. Every dip, I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy some like longer term calls.
This stock traded almost $1 billion worth of shares in notional risk. Unbelievable. So like the stock's down 60% as of Friday's close. This year to date, still has a market cap of $5 billion, which is kind of reasonable. But I think these guys are definitely the future of sports entertainment. So, which leads me to talking about sports betting. So I know you guys love parlays. I did a parlay, and this was a total homer parlay. This was a total people say you shouldn't bet on the teams that you love. I disagree. I think you should bet on the teams that you love. I think you should press when they're running good and they're hot. So I did a parlay with Florida State over Miami. I don't know if you caught that one, but we whooped their ass. Which was good. It was a long time coming. It made me happy. Saturday night. So FSU -7. And I had this one you're going to love. I had the Jets money line to beat the Bills. So my buddy in the morning was like, can the Jets cover 12? I said, the Jets are either going to lose by 50 or they're going to win outright because it was a home game. I said, if they keep it close at defense, they're going to win it outright. So guess what the money – so this people are like, what does this have to do with markets? This has to do with math and risk reward. So I figured the probability of them getting blown out was the same as the probability of them winning. Do you understand what I'm saying? So rather than just getting a 1-to-1 to take 12 points, I bet them on the money line at 5-to-1. I got the Jets to win outright at 5-to-1. I parlayed that with FSU -7, and it paid 17-to-1. I bet $100 and won $1,700 for 2 games to get 2 games.
Oh, wait. You bet how much?
I bet $100 and won $1,700.
Wow, that's like buying the worst out the money call option ahead of earnings, and the stock gap's up 50%.
Math, dude. Math. So now I can lose 16 times in a row, which I might. It's possible.
Yeah, and
still be breaking even. So I wanted to talk about this from a risk reward and a math perspective, because there's a lot of people that do this shit in reverse. They risk $1,700 to make $100, but then they can lose all of their money on one trade.
And those are the premium sellers. Like if you guys ever see out there, the guys who say, oh, I got a 95% win rate and I don't care what direction the stock goes. It's because they're risking $100 to make $5. You're basically paying that commission. So it's like, to be honest, it's a horrible trade. But
I think one thing Lance and I have in common, and besides this redneck hat that I got for him, my fishing hat.
There you go.
Gotta love that. Keep Florida free, Lance. You got to go vote tomorrow. Hey, you got to do it.
Everywhere I go, it's DeSantis everywhere. So I don't think we're gonna have you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, I'm just saying there's a lot of other people running for stuff too. But we'll get into the earnings. There's a lot of events this week. There's CP. Let's look at the economics. You don't like to look at it, but while you're getting settled in, I'm going to show this stuff to people because it still matters. It matters on some level.
It does.
There's going to be action on it. I don't know if it matters like what it's going to do, but I know it's going to move shit. So Jay Powell came out yesterday, the crook in chief, and he was like, I don't know what we're going to do till we get there, which made the market really unsettled. People hated that, right? And especially in tech. And so he also said we're data dependent. So what does that mean? It means they're going to be looking at inflation numbers and jobs numbers. Now we had a jobs report that came out on Friday, which was massive, right? We had a massive jobs report, which in normal life would be good. People are working. But for this sadistic, twisted bastard, that's bad news, right? Because he wants to raise rates to infinity and beyond to cover his own error. We've got CPI on Thursday, right? This is the inflation number. They're lucky that it's coming after the midterm because I think it's still going to be inflationary. I don't have a reason to believe that it's not going to be. Do you?
No, not at all.
Right. So that's Thursday. We've got election tomorrow. We've got Wednesday. We've got the post-election trade, which I have a live class that I'm going to talk about. And then we've got this CPI coming out Thursday once everybody gets settled into the new reality.
What do you think is going to happen this week with midterms in the market?
I think it's going to be a massive red wave. I think it's going to be I think they're going to take I think Republicans are going to take the Senate and the House. Massive.
And how do you think the market's already pricing that in or no?
I do. I think that's been some of the relief rally in I think oil's been running on that. I'm still very long-term bullish on oil. I love the oil stocks. I mean, you know me, I've been boring and pounding the table about that. Yep. I think finance is running on that, but not as hard. That's why my sneak pick for the midterms is Goldman Sachs, because everyone's talking about defense. They're talking about oil. Those are the obvious ones, right? But the removal of like the AOCs in power, the Nancy Pelosi's of power, that creates a relief for Wall Street because they're viewed as the bad guy, remember?
Well, did you see the news with Nancy and her insider trading, trying to get it passed or something like that?
And everybody's trying to get everything, right?
It's funny that they banned all the Fed people from trading stocks and all the politicians, all the scrutiny. Literally, as soon as the market was starting to drop, that's when they finally came out and said, you know what, we don't need to trade stocks or anything. Literally, like right before the market started to come down, like the dead peak. So they're like, oh yeah, we'll sell our stuff. Talk about timing, huh?
This guy, like literally, like they were insider trading. The Fed, him and his cronies were insider trading on the upside. They sold the top. They literally sold
the dead top.
They sold the top. They kept it going to get out. They kept it go. Let me repeat myself. They kept buying treasuries, buying mortgage-backed securities. This son of a bitch was on TV last week saying everybody knows the housing market ran too long. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, why were you still doing $60 billion a month of mortgage-backed purchases when you knew that? Why? So we're all suffering from that. But we've got the situation now where it's like, fiscal spending is crazy. I'm hearing these Dems now. They know this is going to be a referendum. They're saying, please don't make it a referendum on the economy. That's exactly what it's going to be. So they're trying to make it about everything else. January 6th, women's rights, whatever.
Yeah.
Important issues. Fine. We all have our flavors on that. But they're trying to shift your focus from what's actually happening to the economy, which has been utter chaos, if you ask me. But I digress.
Now they said inflation is a made-up word that journalists and economic people they put into our vocabulary this year. Like what? Inflation is a new word.
I had Christine Lagarde on television yesterday. She's a European lady from France.
We don't know how the
head of one of the European central banking queens. She's like, inflation came out of nowhere. What are you talking about? It came out of nowhere. You guys were printing $7 trillion in just the United States. Almost double that if you add Europe, continental Europe. What do you mean came out of nowhere? So they think
that's why you need a PhD in economics, Jeff. That's why you need a PhD in economics to go work for.
So made money in stocks, made money in sports betting. Teams all won. So that's why you get that double whammy. You win, your team wins, you win money on top of that. If the price is right, do it in a math way that makes sense. But trading can be the same way. So you got to know your biases in trading. But if it sets up and the price is right and you really like a case and you really like a situation and they're crashing it, when could be a better time than to get value? Lance, you want to share the screen today and look at the options and stuff? Look at your scanner?
Yeah, let's pull it up here. I was just looking at NEO. I told myself I'll never trade another damn China stock again. And Friday, you saw all the China names Friday, right? All freaking rally massively. Well, they're continuing right now. And I said, no damn, let me rephrase that because they might be spying. I said, no China ADRs. And here I am, NEO just on fire. And then today up another about 45 cents or so. I mean, I wanted to buy November call so bad. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I've been burned in China too many times, but the China names have just, man, dude. Look at that 1215 print Neo here.
That's
so what
incredible.
are you looking at this week?
What do we have? Well, do you have the list?
Earnings are starting to wind down. I'll tell you that much. I will say,
want me
did
to
you
pull
catch
it
the
up?
move in the Starbucks Nike? Huge moves Friday. Some nice moves in
I'm different
Starbucks
than
and
you. I
Nike.
wind it down over the weekend. I'm different. I like to just like wind it down. I have longer term trades, but I don't go for that. That's that wiretap. I stop burn notices over the weekend, believe it or not, because of all the news and shit. Just the way I like, just my favorite, my preference.
So let me ask you. I was talking to this girl last night about the GameStop Netflix series, and she was like, "What do you do? What about crypto?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't really, mess around with all that, stuff like that." So I started thinking about all the SPACs and like all the basically hype shit that they put for us. I mean, think about it. So Palantir had earnings, right? Stock's down like 20 cents. Nothing, right? They lost they lost the penny, it seems. But like I was thinking about it. These stocks, the Palantir, the Space, Virgin Galactic, all these stuff, your Nicolas, these were like shined up on a silver platter right here for retail. And now they're just, I mean, they're gone. Like
look
literally.
at Carvana. We were talking about Carvana. Like somebody sent me a thing about Carvana, right? So I have that. I like to fade analysts.
$300
right?
stock.
People were telling you to buy this stock at 300. Like it was crazy. It's a penny stock basically at this point.
It is
almost.
It's a penny stock. And like you said, people were saying buy it. What were some of the other names that people bought into? Your QS, all your fuel cells, all the EV battery names out there, just gone. Twilio. Twilio lifting off. Oh yeah. Like this was a good internet software stock, people said on CNBC. Just not too long ago. Now it's a $40 stock.
Tell you what, dude. So we've got some earnings this week, right? Do you want me to share that?
Yeah. Let's see what we got for earnings.
All right.
You should get the alert. The team should send that out. Let me ask them now.
All right. You guys seeing you're seeing my Bloomberg? Oh, what happened? Oh, here.
Yeah, we got the Bloomberg.
Okay, cool. So we've got today's aftermarket. We've got Mosaic's a fun stock. Fang's been an unbelievable stock. This thing is making like all-time highs. They're making money. They're making money, but it's probably already priced in a lot. Take Two, ATVI, Take Two is pretty interesting. Those stocks move. We have Lyft.
You got the big dog
Lyft is today.
Roblox. You got Roblox at that video game. So Activision, Take Two, Roblox, all the video game space.
Yep. We got Lyft also. Uber was massive. They beat, right?
Well, Uber wasn't horrendous, so the stock went up. I will say I had some Dash calls, and I made fantastic on them. So Dash popped big on earnings. It was like $57. Stock closed at 51.5.
Oh, we got a junkie name this week. We got AMC.
No, is it really?
Yeah, tomorrow after the close.
Do you?
And Roblox is before the market. Let's look at that. You share that screen. Share your options. Let's look at the options.
We'll give these guys and girls a Roblox trade. How about that? Let's go to it.
Here, you share.
So we got Roblox here. Obviously, the chart is not great, but everything in that space, any kind of new IPO name is not good at all.
Hold up. Be right back.
Okay. But it to be honest, it's not horrible, unlike some names. So Roblox, you got about 179% IV on it. And the market makers are only implying, which is actually shocking in Roblox, the market makers are only implying about $5.50. That's not a big implied move, in my opinion. Even though it's a $40 stock, this stock is crazy, right? It's a gapper, as we say. So what I mean by a gapper is, the stock historically gaps. So like here, we'll just zoom in a little bit on the previous earnings. Here, last quarter, the stock gap from about 45 to about 47. So we have a gap up. Here on earnings, we had really no move. And then here on earnings, we had a big gap down, about 73 to about 55. So they're only implying, Jeff, about a $4.50 move on Roblox, or $5.50
$4.50. It's a $40 stock. So what, like?
So you're looking
10%?
at 46 for the upside target, and then downside basically like 35. 35 puts are $1.05. 46 calls should be around $1, about $1.20. Not horrible.
Not horrible.
I actually think implied vol is actually kind of light in it, to be honest with you. Even though, it's a high flyer, but if the kids play the video games and the market holds up.
My kid loves Roblox. He's on that shit nonstop.
So if you think about it, 45 or 40, we're looking at 46 or so. 47.70 is right back to the prior high. It's actually not bad at all.
Like this month. It's like last month too. It's just a few weeks
it's
ago.
A daily chart.
Like
so that's October 26th. And let's say earnings are amazing. Could the stock print 53? I think so. Like that's why I come in and say, if you want to buy cheap out the money calls, looking for a greater than expected move, I think the stock could print 53 a share.
The crazy part though is I'm a little bit skewed in that sense. Like I think, like, let's put it this way. Look at what happened to DraftKings, right? DraftKings traded down almost 30%, right? I think the upside is still capped in some of this stuff. Roblox is not DraftKings, much better chart. But I think it's kind of a little bit skewed. It's a little bit skewed and to the downside. So you get stocks totally pounded out.
Yeah, but at the same, if we were in a bull market, right?
Yeah.
And this stock had decent earnings or okay earnings, this stock could print $50 tomorrow after earnings. No problem, right? Because everything was going up as long as earnings weren't horrible. It was great. This market though, someone mentioned Meta. I've been telling people, speaking of bottom fishing on a horrible chart, I've been telling people I've been buying Meta calls nonstop. I've been bottom fishing in it. Today it's up about $3 pre-market. Not horrible.
They said they were going to fire everybody.
Well,
about time.
Who do you think they got that from? Mr.
Elon
Musk.
King.
Yeah,
the king.
the cost cutting king.
He's such a hot button topic guy. It's so funny
because people hate him. Like I've never seen so much hatred for a guy who's transformed the world by going electric and saving the earth, but now he's like the most hated man in America.
But think about Sleepy Joe disinvited him from like the electric vehicle summit and like had GM as like the grand poobah. GM like creates like 1/100th of the electric vehicles a week that Tesla
they have one, like a Hummer that can't even drive, it's shut down, and then they had the Bolt that had all the issues. He mentioned, he goes,
everything's political, dude. Everything's people tell you don't get into politics. Everything is political. Everything, stocks, everything these days. It is what it is. It is what it is.
He gets
Let's
no
take a look
credit.
at. Do you want to look at how much time do we have left here? What time is it?
About 5 minutes, 4 minutes. People love their Elon Earth Day.
Look at Fang. Pull up this Diamondback Energy. It's an interesting case to me. I bet you the puts are cheap on that.
Well, a lot of these energy companies who are coming out, I will say, since everyone's along them, if the earnings aren't fabulous, like beyond expectations, they have been getting sold off. But the puts, I mean, They don't have weeklies, only monthlies. But I mean, I ain't buying a five.
Hey guys, try to keep it a little bit clean. I know I'm not clean, but try to keep it a little bit slightly respectful in the chat. There are people that have emotions. I'm dead inside. I don't care, but let's keep it a little bit clean, not super insulting. Let's put it that way. But you know what, Randy, you're not going to get a hard argument out of me. Let's just keep it a little bit clean. Yeah,
I don't like Fang just because they're $5 wide options. They're too expensive, in my opinion. Not a good risk versus reward. Like, let's say let's say the stock drops to 150 and you buy the 155 puts, you risk 380 to make $5. Who cares?
Yeah, it's bad.
Let's look at Oxy.
I'm thinking in my mind
this. Well, you want to go to Oxy then?
Oxy. Or let's look at Mosaic. I love the material stocks that are not oil. I think there's massive put opportunities.
Why the gap down the other day in Mosaic?
Just
a nasty
garbage.
gap.
Nasty gap.
Yeah, that's a nasty gap down. Is it because the Russia, Ukraine, all that stuff out there?
I think so. Yeah. Well, a lot of those ag stocks got killed last week. It's weird. Oil ripped, and then a lot of like mining and material stocks did not.
I will say,
but oil just keeps going.
The options in Mosaic are actually somewhat reasonable. The 50 calls are about $1.70. That ain't bad.
No, it's not.
That ain't bad at all.
Look at the chart. Do you have a chart?
Yeah, it ain't too pretty. You know. Ain't too pretty at all, Mosaic. But it is earnings, you know. So, you know, the charts really matter that much. You know, it's not trending like it was back in, you know, February, March of earlier this year, but it ain't horrible. Yeah. Speaking of Meta, this stock continues to rip pre-market here. It's like the people have spoken on Meta and keeps ripping. Maybe we got all the chat running into Facebook. They love Mark now.
You might have a counter trend move this week where you have big cap tech relief. So people thinking big cap tech will get smoked on the red wave. And so I think we might have a relief sell the news.
No. I think the complete opposite. I think big cap tech rallies on.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a counter trend rally because they've been getting killed. So I think you could have a little bit of a reverse of that this week where big cap tech goes higher and oil and those stocks that were supposed to be great for the red wave start to sell off a little bit.
I agree with that for sure, because you got to figure everyone's so scared of, you know, the tech names, right? Of all everything going on right now with Musk, Zuckerberg, all that, Amazon.
Right.
But if you look at their move that they had under a Republican president, they were incredible. It's really
incredible.
You know, under Biden's really where they had their struggles with so many big, you know, large cap tech names. So think always counter, be a contrarian. Don't follow.
Got to be a contrarian.
All right, Jeff, I got to go. I got to trade. And because
let me just sign off for these people. It's been a fun week. If y'all like it, subscribe. Don't just be a one-off. Be here every week, even when Lance is driving back. Huh?
Leave a comment on the YouTube if you can, and like the video and all that stuff.
Bullish Meta, short term, long term. That's a piece of shit. Don't invest in that stock. Oh, casinos are going to keep ripping. Like,
oh yeah,
red waves
those win calls. Oh my god.
When is my money flow? Is my money flow stock of the month win already up? Massive. Let's go. LFG.
I had win calls and I sold them so early, but made great money.
I think soon we should start actually live trading, but we should charge money for it.
All right.
Stay tuned, kids. Have a great week, y'all. Go vote. A lot of people died for that right for you to do it. Vote your conscience, but vote. Peace. Thank you. Yes, another pitch, Carol. Trying to make you money, Carol. Take care. Hope you enjoyed it.